First thing we want to go over is the menu bar. This is our menu bar, and these are the items on the menu bar. We have files, which has open, save, select, printer layout, and print reports and exit, of course. Edit clears the screen, updates the screen, does an auto calculate on the screen, and synchronizes all the units through the load selector to how many dwelling units you have. View, you can view the saved appliances. We'll get to that later. You can view the customer database, your company's information, and change or view your company logo. Settings, you can choose between 2011, 8, or 5 codebook to follow on the calculations. Set basic home. By pressing this, we'll change the load calculation to a basic home as a template, and then you could build on that. Spell check on and off. Look at the top of the toolbar. If I click this, now it will say spell check is off, and up here notice spell check went away. So go back, turn spell check on. That says spell check is now enabled, turned on, and reminder up here, spell check is enabled. Okay, going to the next one. General size circuit, 15 or 20 amp circuits. Those are the general circuits that for your lighting circuits. General lighting circuits of 15 or 20. Wire types, use copper or aluminum. You can choose between standard and optional calculation. And you could choose between 3 types of panel: a service panel, a main sub panel, and a sub panel. We'll get to the differences later. In the full version, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 programs, sub-programs that's available. We have a handy calculator that has these special features that allows you to do load calculations easier. Okay, you have Conduit Calculator, which allows you to put a variety of different sizes of wires, and it will size the correct conduit for you. We'll get into this in more detail later. And again, find the conduit. By clicking find conduit, it'll find the appropriate conduit size and give you all the information about that conduit fit. The next program is fault current. This is very important when you're installing a panel from the transformers, the utilities transformer. The distance from the transformer here, size of transformer, the voltage of the transformer, and the type of wire, and the raceway that the wire comes in, and then the type of motors that may have effect on the fault current is called motor loading. And so you can choose for the different types of motors that you have and how they can affect in adding motor loading more fault current to the scenario, and we'll get into that later. The next one we have is an ohm calculator, just a handy little calculator for figuring out the Ohm's law of the resistive charts, and here's Ohm's law on figuring out single and 3-phase scenarios. And the next one we have is a one-line demo, not finished product yet, but kind of nice. Allows you to draw a one-line diagram of the scenario that the circuit that you're drawing. And again, we'll get into this a little bit more. It's a demo, so it's just included no charge at this time. It's just for giving you a chance to see what it does and get your feedback on it so that we know what improvements need to be made on it. Okay. And the next program available is motors. What this does is allow you to select motors, and then it tells you the type of wire and the starter that you'll need, etc., etc. Just doing a simple little print off here, we'll see that the motor that we selected requires that it have a size 1 NEMA starter size 1, and the wire sizes and stuff, fuses, that's all laid out here for you. Get into that later. And then the last one, the next one is transformers. Again, this tells you what size of wire you need to run from your transformer to your panel, whatever, panel disconnect, etc. And then the last one is the voltage drop. Allows you to determine your voltage drop of the wire. We'll get into that later also. Okay, so the next item after the programs, we have a panel schedule. This allows you to print a panel schedule of the items that you selected, and it also throws in default items that do not add to the load calculation. For instance, the bath circuit is not something that's going to add to the load calculation. And the general lighting circuits also do not add to load calculation. Those are based on square footage. Okay, so we'll get into that in more detail later. The next thing we have is about. Shows this is the THOR version 1.0 that's built on previous programs, and this is evolution of those programs. And then you can click on the license agreement here and view the license agreement. The next thing we have is help files. This shows the THOR help files, and by enlarging it, you can go by indexing, or you can search a topic that you wanted to find here, and we'll get into that in more detail later. Okay.